It's been 3 months since I started daily driving a Pixel Watch 2. Is it accessible? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, this is Carrie on Accessibility, where we talk about accessibility and technology. If you're interested in that type of video, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can stay up to date on my latest videos. This video has been brought to you by the Carrie on Accessibility, or COA, YouTube channel members and Patreon members. Last year, I bought the original Pixel Watch about 3 times, and I returned them 3 times. I created 2 shorts, one talking about TalkBack and one talking about Magnification on that original watch, and I wanted to create a long form video to talk about the accessibility on it, but I ended up just creating a post talking about how much I did not like it. It was not a good experience with TalkBack. It was just way too slow, a lot of lag, a lot of frustration, and even with Magnification, there was not a lot of control. The Magnification was just not enough for me, and there wasn't enough text size options on it. It's a new year and a new watch, and I can say that I enjoy this watch much, much more. It is a massive improvement from the previous model. Now, toggling TalkBack on and off doesn't take 5 minutes. I use both Magnification and TalkBack. I don't always have TalkBack on, but I do toggle it on and off quite a bit, especially to read things when I go out on a walk. If I'm doing a workout, I use TalkBack because I can't read the screen in bright light. This is going to be a quick accessibility review. First, let's dive into TalkBack. When you first set up the device, you can triple press the side button, not the crown, but the side button to turn on TalkBack. If you don't do this during setup, you'll have to later go to Settings, Accessibility, then TalkBack, and turn on the TalkBack shortcut. Once you turn on TalkBack, you can swipe left and right to go to previous and next elements. You can also use Explore by Touch. I'm very glad also that they removed the whole complication announcement for each widget. On the original Pixel Watch, it would be complication and then the steps, complication and then the date, complication this and it was completely unnecessary, and I'm very glad they removed that. To get to the next or previous page, you can swipe with 2 fingers to go back or forward. To answer calls, you have the 2-finger double tap. Carrie from the future here. Some of my original footage got a little bit lost, so I'll be filling in the gaps here and there in the video. One important note is that there's been an update where now you have to double tap and hold with 2 fingers in order to answer or end calls or pause and play media. You can use the watch to pause and play your media, and you can even have it auto launch. So if you're playing something on your phone and you pick up your watch or you press a button or activate it, turn it on, it can automatically launch the media player. Here I have my phone and I can just start playing something. It will launch the media controller for the phone, and I can pause, go next and previous, and you can use the crown to adjust volume. However, the 2-finger double tap that we're all very familiar with does not work to control your phone's media playback, which is disappointing. The 2-finger double tap and hold to pause and play media is only applicable for media that you're playing from your watch. You will want to be familiar and comfortable with angle gestures, because that is what TalkBack uses a lot on the Pixel Watch 2. You can only do a maximum of 2-finger gestures, which I understand. This is a very small screen, and angle gestures on it are kind of challenging, but you know, you can pretty much get used to it. You have the down right to go to TalkBack settings and down left to go back, and there's other ones that you can review or customize within the TalkBack settings. Again, there's been an update where the down left back gesture is no longer a default TalkBack gesture. You can still go to the settings and set that as a gesture, which I've done, but now the only way by default to go back is doing the 2-finger swipe to the right from the left edge of the screen. We do need to stop here and talk about the text-to-speech voice on this watch. It doesn't sound nice. It is worse than the previous generation because of an update, and this is supposed to make TalkBack on the watch faster and more responsive. And in the very beginning, I absolutely hated it. It just sounded really bad to me. But over the months, I've honestly gotten used to it. It's been 3 months, and I guess I've resigned myself to hearing this voice. I think that Google can do better. If it's a hardware issue, they need to update the watches. They really need to have better hardware so that it can run a better text-to-speech voice. But still, I've gotten used to it. I use TalkBack all the time and it works. It's fine. Overall, TalkBack works a lot better than the Pixel Watch original, but it is still a little bit laggy. It's enough that I find it usable, but it's still not like the experience you have on Android phones on Pixel, especially on the Pixel 8. Let's just go ahead and compare it to the Apple Watch. I had the Apple Watch Series 7. I'm pretty sure it was a Series 7, and voiceover on that Apple Watch was still better than TalkBack on this Pixel Watch. To be fair, I did have some issues with that Apple Watch. VoiceOver did get stuck occasionally, and sometimes it would just stop working, but it was still faster, more responsive. This is much better than Google's previous Pixel Watch, but it still lags behind the Apple Watch, pun intended. Especially when you compare it to the newest Apple Watches, which my dad has, and that seems to be super snappy. I'm just waiting for Google to make it a similar experience on the Pixel Watch. On the low vision, visually impaired side of things, it now has a lot more control over text size. You can increase it to a good amount, even though it's no way near enough for me to be able to see it, and you can also use bold text. Even with the largest text size and bold text, I can't read it, so I have to turn on magnification. You can also find it in the accessibility settings. Once you turn it on, you can use one finger to triple tap and activate magnification. Then you can use 2 fingers to move around the screen, and then you can triple tap with 1 finger on the screen to zoom out. Alternatively, you can triple tap and hold, then drag your finger around. Then when you let go, it will zoom out. If you're already magnified, you can still do the triple tap and hold, move around, drag your finger around the screen, and once you let go, it will still be zoomed in. In the magnification settings, there is a toggle called Vibrate on Edge, and I can't really make heads or tails of what this does. If you know, let me know in the comments. Below that, you also have an option to increase magnification up to 3x. I have it to maximum, and usually it's enough for me to see the text. Usually, I wish that you could use pinch to zoom to increase or decrease the magnification. That's not available on the Pixel Watch. I guess part of the problem is the screen is very small, so pinching in and out could potentially be a problem. I do wish that 3x was not the maximum zoom though. I wish they could go up to 5 or even 10x and just leave the option up to the user how much we want to magnify. Just please give me the choice, Google. There is no magnification lens, so you can't zoom into the keyboard or the emojis, which the emojis would be super helpful to be able to zoom in on. And I feel that I kind of understand the keyboard, but the emojis, like, that is what I really want to zoom in. You can use dictation to answer messages, so there is that. There's no color inversion. The dark mode works pretty well though, and there's color correction for people who are colorblind, and you can also set it to grayscale. Now let's go over some of my general device feedback. First, battery life. It's not great. It really isn't. Granted, I was coming from a Fitbit, and those can last days upon days upon days, even up to a week, which is awesome. And you don't always have to charge it, and you can sleep with it, and all sorts of things. But those weren't really accessible, and they also didn't have as much capabilities as this one. So it is way better than the original one. At least this lasts me the whole day usually, and the old one it did not last me the whole day, not even close. It can last me the whole day unless I do a lot of workouts, and I've had long walks, things like that, where I've had to go home and charge it, and because I do wear mine overnight to help with my sleep score, or try to at least keep tabs on it. I don't know. They say all this is not really that great for real medical metrics, whatever. I just want to know, I just want to have an idea. Next is the speaker. I've talked about this a little bit with TalkBack, but even not the TalkBack voice, just Google Assistant talking to you, it's just not great. PM. Does it work? Yes, it does. It's muffly. When you're on phone calls, it's not great. It doesn't sound that great.
It doesn't sound like your usual audio quality.
It is louder. It's just not great quality. And I feel that even with the new text-to-speech voice that I don't like with TalkBack, it could still sound better if the speaker was better. I also find if I'm doing a lot of stuff, I will easily block the speaker. I have mine on my right wrist, so that could be part of it. I think the speaker is on like the left side, so if I bend my wrist back, sometimes it can block the speaker. Okay, so can you hear me?
I can hear you.
However, the microphone is pretty decent. Whenever I had a phone call with someone, I asked them, how do I sound? Most of them said I sounded fine. Maybe not great, but fine. How do I sound?
You sound fine.
Okay, how do I sound?
Okay, slightly muffled.
How do I sound, Mom?
You sound good.
How do I sound?
You sound great.
The screen is fine. I can't tell with resolution or how great or bad it is. For me, it's totally fine. The issue is the brightness. It does not get bright enough for me outside, not even close. I'm just going to use TalkBack if I'm outside and it's really bright because I can't see it. Google Assistant, it works pretty well. Just about the same as any other Google Assistant, honestly. You have to be connected to your phone though. Otherwise, Google Assistant is totally out of commission. It's not going to work at all. You can actually tell it start a run or start a walk, but I wasn't able to find the right keyword for any other workouts. It would always just take me to the Fitbit app and have me select a workout from there. You can also only have one timer at a time. You can have plenty of alarms though. I have a lot of alarms that I set, and you can have it just vibrate or vibration and sound, or just sound, and I kind of really like that. However, be warned, if you're a heavy sleeper and you have a lot of alarms and you don't turn them off, they will just keep going and going and going, and your watch will not like that. It'll start getting warm. Yes, that has happened to me a few times, and it drains the battery life too. One really cool feature is the Find My Phone. I really like that one. You can swipe down to the notification shade and there's an icon there, Find My Phone. Super, super helpful. You can also ask Google Assistant and say, Find My Phone, and that also really works. So great. Overall, I think it's a relatively good experience, a lot better than Fitbit. Maybe one day Fitbit will have Magnification or TalkBack on their devices, but for now, Google Watch is the way to go, I think, when it comes to Android. There's also the Samsung watches, which I have friends who are totally blind that use that and do enjoy that, so I haven't personally been able to use it, but I feel there's still a lot that Google could improve. If you really want something that can keep track of your steps and your activity and, maybe your notifications, you can totally use this watch. It's totally usable, and the magnification experience is much better. But the TalkBack, if you have patience, you can do it. But if you don't have a lot of patience, I recommend that you just maybe wait another year or two for Google to hopefully improve. We'll have to see later this year or next year. That's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. And if you want to support this channel and what I do here, please consider becoming a Koa YouTube channel member or joining the Koa Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. To be fair, I did have some... Oh my gosh. Can you guess who was calling? Yep, it was my sister. I love you, ate.